So you're a film director?
Mike told you that?
Oh, you know Mike? No, Mike didn't say anything. Just the vibe I'm picking up.
Oh, that's funny. What else did he tell you about me?
No, nothing. He said, you used to be an actress and now you're a director. I swear to God. Why'd you give it up? Acting.
I didn't. I think people just sort of stopped hiring me, maybe. But I'm actually happier doing what I'm doing. At least now I can eat cookies sometimes.
What was it? Were you difficult?
Man, you're nosy. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't attractive enough.
Oh, yeah. Mike mentioned that you like to fish around for compliments.
Well, that is not true. I do not like compliments.
That was a clip from Black Bear, a new film by Lawrence Michael Levine, which is available on streaming platforms from next Friday, the 23rd of April. And it stars Christopher Abbott, Sarah Gadon, and Aubrey Plaza, who I am thrilled to say joins us now. Hey, Aubrey, how are you?
I am good.
Now, I tried my hardest to find a Black Bear jumper.
Oh my God.
All I could get was a panda.
That is not terrifying at all. I have heard that pandas are actually way more ferocious than we know.
Yeah, sat there chewing their bamboo, looking like not a care in the world.
Chewing their bamboo, scheming their next scheme.
Where do we find you and how do we find you? I hope you're well.
I'm in overcast. I would say sunny Los Angeles, but it is overcast today, surprisingly. California. Who would have thought a girl like me would end up in a place like this?
Listen, Black Bear, I had such a brilliant experience watching this film. I think I love when you can't describe a film easily. I think that's a sign of a good film almost, when it's not easy to put in a box or a genre. How are you describing it? Are you finding it quite hard to describe the film?
Please, God, don't ask me to describe it because I am describing it because I lived it. And I've found that I really can only say, like, the movie feels like two very bad dreams combined into one overall nightmarish bad dream. So it feels very much like that for me. But of course, that's not a great marketing campaign.
I've been kind of telling people that it's a really kind of dark look at filmmaking and the lens that people will go to find kind of inspiration or that special thing on both sides of the camera.
Okay, that's probably one of the best descriptions I've heard of it. Not joking. Like, that's great.
Yes, awesome.
Yeah, stealing that.
Listen, I love the fact how involved you were in this prior to, a camera turning in terms of working with Lawrence on the script. And I know that you guys have been working together on camera in this Netflix show Easy, and he delivered the script to you. What did he say to you prior to just, sending you the script?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. I had no idea he was writing a script with me in mind, and he just it was like months, maybe a year after we had worked together, he called me up and asked me to go for coffee and just said and just did that classic slid it across the table kind of thing and said that I wrote this for you and I'd love for you to do it and let me know what you think, and that's really it. It was just really like just plopped down on as a gift right in front of me. And
he didn't sort of make you sit there and read it in front of him whilst he sat opposite the table, did he?
I don't remember. He would do something like that, but he probably would. But no, he didn't. I don't think so. I think I read it very quickly, as I normally do. I can't help myself. And then I had coffee with him, and I just was like, Larry, man, oh man, what are you getting me into here? It was intense.
What was your, when you read it, can you remember your reaction in terms of you were kind of, which made you take it further and, and actually want to be part of the film? What was your reaction? What do you think the attraction was to it?
My immediate reaction was, Larry, you wrote a play. Why would you ever think that this should be on camera? But just because it was written like a play almost. I mean, the dialogue was so dense and so much dialogue, 14-page long scenes and stuff. But I think I was terrified about it when I read it because it just seemed impossible. The way that he wrote it was so hyperbolic and just like sentences like, and then Allison gives the best performance that anyone has ever seen as she cries on the floor, like describing this scene. And I'm going like, Larry, like, how could you like, and he was just like, well, and so I was terrified because I generally gravitate towards things that scare me. And so I knew deep down that I was going to do it. And I think a lot of the everything in my body and my brain was going like, this is going to be painful. This is painful. But I just was like, I'm doing it. So.
Is that kind of part of the attraction in terms of you know that you're going to have to give something your all. It's going to be a journey, but you can kind of see that by putting all that into it, the results are going to be so rewarding in terms of what comes out the other side.
Yeah, I mean that's what you hope. I think I saw the potential in the movie, and I felt like yes, it's a very small, very artistic film, but I felt like there was a universal kind of thing happening that people would relate to and that would transcend the small movie screens. And I just felt very kind of sure about that. And then in terms of just my own experience, like, you know, generally I do movies for the experience of doing them. The end result is like you hope that they're good and you hope that it was worth it, but you never know. You never
Mm.
know. You could do something that almost kills you and then it's a terrible movie and you go like, well, but I don't, yeah, I do it because it's an experience. It's a experience that I need to go through for whatever reason.
So we have these three characters, Alison, Blair, and Gabe, and you play Alison. And there's two parts to the film. That's what I'll say. I obviously don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen it before they hear this chat. But that gives you the opportunity to play one character, but almost like two different characters within one in a way. Is
Hmm.
that fun as well? In kind of looking at the two parameters of a character.
Totally, yeah. I think that yeah, the kind of duality to the role was one of the most appealing things about the movie is as an actor and especially for me, I am looking, to do something that's complicated. And so like there's nothing more complicated than, playing a character who is playing a character. And it's just not something you see a lot. And so, yeah, it was just something that I was like, oh, this looks really hard, and I want to do it. But yeah,
Did
uh,
you shoot each part chronologically then?
uh, for the most part, yeah, for the most part, we did. We shot the first half of the movie in the first half of the production. So, but then there were definitely times when we had to kind of like go back and forth a little bit, but not too much.
Because it's set in this, I mean, it's beautiful kind of lodge on a lake in the middle of nowhere. And I imagine that you were probably quite remote whilst you were filming it as well. Would that be fair?
Oh yes, that is fair. Yeah, we were in the middle of nowhere. We were shooting at a beautiful location that was perfect for the film, not so perfect for shooting a movie. We were at a lake house in the Adirondacks, upstate New York. But you drive off the main road about 30 minutes to get to the house. So somewhere along the lines, you lose your service, you lose the cell service, there's no internet, we were having daily blackouts. It's a very interesting way to shoot when you never know when the lights are going to go off in the middle of a scene. It's a roller coaster, but yeah, there were so many like crazy challenges that we did not foresee. Being at such a beautiful location, but at the end of the day, all you get is the movie, and you don't see any of the other stuff that went on. So who cares?
Mm.
We were on haunted lands. Let's just say that.
How much do you think that, kind of almost living within that environment that the film's set in a way fed into to the performances? Do you think it helped at all, being that kind of isolated and
I do think it helped. I mean, I don't know if help is the right word, but I think it infused a certain kind of energy onto the screen because, most of the crew was actually living on the location. So we were all kind of essentially quarantining pre-pandemic style. Had no idea that we'd be doing that for a long time after, but we were all there. And you start to lose your mind after a while. It's like The Shining. Everyone starts walking around mumbling to themselves, and we all lost it. But I think that the chaos of that and the just kind of incestuous energy of that just really amplified the intensity of the film,
Mm,
probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
The dialogue is incredible. It's so responsive. It feels so natural and real. And I know a lot of people will expect that a lot of it was improvised. Was that the case, or or did Larry kind of encourage you to really follow a script, or was it somewhere in between?
It was very not improvised. It was very much
Wow.
scripted, and we really stuck to the script. I mean, the dialogue was just so beautifully written and so dense that we just didn't need to really improvise. I mean, there were certain moments, of course, where there were things flying out of my mouth that weren't in the script, but not a lot. Mostly, we were treating it like a play almost.
You mentioned earlier about in the script it said, and Alison gives the best performance that she's ever given. That scene towards the very end of the film is phenomenal. Was there much prep that you could do for this role? Did you have to do much prep for it?
Uh, the prep honestly is just my life. I've been I mean, I've been in situations not as extreme as that, at all, but I one of the reasons why Larry wrote the film is because we had many discussions about working on films with our partners and how kind of messy and complicated that can get. And
Hmm.
so this was really inspired by some of those experiences that we both had. And so a lot of it was just really close to home. So there was no prep you can really do. And just the nature of the shoot, we had no money. We were, moving so fast. Like we didn't have the luxury of time. So it was really just one of those like, it's on, like you're in or you're out kind of things. Like you just have to surrender to the process at a certain point.
Does that make it harder then when you are kind of like you say, so close to the truth in your own experiences to switch off, to say goodbye to that character, to not carry any baggage of the experience with you?
It is really hard to shake it off. Yeah, I think for me, especially that movie, I think more than any other movie maybe I've done was really slightly traumatic to be totally honest. But just because I felt like in a lot of ways it was this kind of deconstruction of my own self, my own persona in a way, and I felt it was just very personal. So it was
Yeah.
hard. It was hard. It was a hard one to like walk away from and be like, I'm gonna go to Mexico or whatever. Like I was just like, I'm gonna die. Um, but I'm here and we're good and moving right along. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if they'd ever do it again, but yeah.
Wow. Thanks for going through that to let us enjoy a film. So I mean I say enjoy and I really thoroughly enjoyed it, but it also has this brilliant quality where it feels you have this kind of uneasiness minutes within watching the film that you can't put your finger on as to what it is, but it
Yeah.
hooks you. You can't leave it. You have to stick with it. You stick with them. But it's so fascinating. It was such an interesting experience watching it. Was that intentional to kind of get under the audience's skin kind of quite early with these characters and this uneasiness?
I think so. I mean, I'm not the director, but I feel like it was, and you could feel that in the script. There's just something very uncomfortable about it, and yeah, like I think just really relatable too. It's
Mm,
like I feel like a lot of people can relate to like being in a relationship and then having like this third person come in and just kind of like with the power dynamics in a way where you're like, it just really feeds on that like insecure kind of instincts like that we all have. I'm sure we've all felt like that, powerless, or we felt like we're the ones that are kind of like, calling the shots or whatever. So I think it's just human nature. Like, but
mm,
it was just very well. The nuance of the tension was just very well written. So it just feels icky to watch. You're just like,
yeah.
ugh. Yeah.
But you can't not watch as well. It's like so good. Yeah. You say you're not the director, but you are a producer on this. And this is what's you've already produced a couple of projects prior to this. How does it make is the experience different for you when you're involved in that side of it?
Yeah, totally. It's just really satisfying to be able to put your stamp on it on the film in that way, and not just as an actor. And I just am someone that really cares about the whole all steps of the process, and I get really fired up about the music and the editing and just everything. I love movies, so it's just so yeah, it's so satisfying for me to be able to be with a film from the very beginning to the very end and not just like walk off set and go, well, I washed my hands of that one. Hope it
Mm.
turns out okay. It's like, no, I actually get to, affect the film as in the post process. So it was cool. Like, there's definitely something really satisfying about it.
Where does one go about getting a real bear to shoot a film with? It's
Okay,
like a bear agency.
there is a bear agent.
No.
He's not reliable. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't work with him. I don't remember. So I wasn't there when we shot with the actual bear. But
Oh,
I was very.
spoiler.
There's no bear. There's no bear. We never see a bear. I've never seen a bear in my life. Neither will you. Oh, there's a bear. Get over it. Okay. Like, yeah. So maybe there's a bear. Maybe there isn't. It's called Black Bear. Speak for yourself. I don't know. Really love.
Listen, when I told people we were coming to chat to you today, there was so many people who had said they had redived or dived for the first time into all 123 episodes of Parks and Recreation during lockdown, and it being just a perfect, companion to help them through this,
Yeah. I get
hellhole that
it.
we've been in.
Who better to get through the global pandemic than Leslie Knope? She's who you want, by your side. She, in some ways, I feel like she had a lot to do with Joe Biden getting elected. There was just an unconscious thing where people were like, this is what Leslie wants. We need to elect him.
What Leslie wants, Leslie gets. And listen, we're just about to run out of time, but what do we see you in next, Aubrey? Excited to
Ooh.
continue this wonderful journey.
Well, I mean, I don't know when you're going to see me, but I know that I just finished a film with Guy Ritchie,
Yes.
that will be coming out who knows when, and besides that, I have a bunch of things brewing as I always
Yes.
do. You'll just see me on your daily, feed, just
Awesome.
whatever.
Well, I hope we get to chat in person about one of those many projects. I'm excited to see you and the Statham together in this Guy Ritchie
Oh,
project.
yeah, me and
Can't
Stacey.
wait. But listen,
Yeah,
congratulations on Black Bear. It's a really fantastic film, and it's a pleasure getting the chance to chat to you about it.
thank you, Edith.